Hello, Dr. Azeeza.
Hello, everybody.
Well, today is our finale, Dr. Azeeza. We sprinted to the 10th part series. Today is our 10th episode. Everyone watching in, welcome in. We have been live every Friday and Monday on LinkedIn. Today is our 10th episode. We focus on tips and stories today and what tools have helped you throughout the week staying balanced in the soul, body, and mind. We welcome you to interact with us today as much as possible. My name is Kate Lee, the CEO of the impact-driven company Life of Emerald based in Seoul, and Dr. Azeeza is the founder of GoGLOBAL Business School based in Singapore. Dr. Azeeza, how are you and how was your week?
Wow, thank you so much, Kate. And thank you for holding that space together for the last 9 episodes. And today we sum up, I think, season 1 of the 10-part series. And congratulations to all of you who have been tuning in live and recording to be part of this conversation that we have been intentionally putting together for this creating solutions for mental well-being and inspiring organizations to a whole new level. For your clarity, like what Kate, you have been saying, has been just phenomenal with all the various guests who showed up, sharing their wisdom with us. And I think I myself have picked up so much of wisdom from everybody that has been part of the sessions. And for me, this week has been quite exciting. And has been a lot to do with communication and how communication in a more intrinsic manner. It was a reminder for me as well for intrinsic communication to be to get ourselves empowered and influence others in that space. So I would like to talk into that in a bit. So I want to hear from you. What has been going on for you?
Yeah. Have you heard of the flow state? There's a book called Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler. And when you're in this flow state, you're zoned in, focused on your task. And I have been in that state of mind all week. Sometimes this week, I remember reminding myself to be kind and eat properly. So that's been my journey. Dr. Azeeza, what do you mean by intrinsic communication? What happened? What's the story? What have you learned?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking. This intrinsic communication values has been something I have been working on myself and also share in our conscious leadership framework when it comes to really looking at what kind of energy I hold when I'm communicating and how we need to present ourselves as a leader, as a team player in our organization. So sometimes when we are communicating, and for me, it has been a journey. And this week, where the story comes from is this week in our Go Global Business Club, we have been running these daily sessions. And this week we focused on intrinsic and extrinsic communication and how to uplift yourself in that space. And the topic was around it. So one of the things that came out while we were discussing was this important part of us when we are expanding our energy to hold more people. For example, if you're a management level person and you are operating from a constricted energy space, when you communicate with another person, you will be very, very, your own space of love and peace will not be able to impact them if you are constricted in your energy space. So you need to expand your energy. Some people call it aura, but I feel that it's more of your forgiveness, your own space of clarity, your own space of love, and how much you take care, like what Kate, you said. The more we give ourselves, we are able to give to others. So the intrinsic values, one of it that we discuss, and I relate to it so much, is the space of love and peace that we are having in our energy, so that when we are communicating with others, we are vibrating more of that. When we are constricted, we're not able to vibrate that love and peace as freely as we want to. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Could I say that there is nothing is a secret? People can sniff whether we have a constricted energy or expanded energy. So the intrinsic communication comes down to really being being honest with yourself, be evaluating what is really going on within your energy field, and also internal intention, interacting with people, and then witnessing that and proactively say, okay, I want to step into a bigger leadership role. May I intrinsically expand this energy of love, peace, harmony within me so that people mysteriously can pick that up. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes, it is. And that is the tip of the iceberg of this conversation, especially all of you who are looking at promotions and, get attracting more clients. How much are you having this communication, like what Kate, you were also talking about? The internal communication is all that is exuded as energy with the external world. So I have walked this journey for a long time to every time pick up when I am not in that, expanded energy, and when I'm constricted, and how I show up as reacting instead of responding. So this is where the whole communication is inside between our ears and in our mind, right? It's not just how we are responding to life. That matters a lot. So the more we expand, the more we are able to serve our teams, and especially when we are talking about the deservability conversation of promotions and better clients, bigger clients, all of that is in this space.
Dr. Aziza, I would like to disclose this to public. After our call yesterday, you helped me out with shedding some old beliefs about my mom and dad. I did what you asked me to do, write a letter to mom and dad separately of all the energetic, disappointments I felt. I'm not blaming them because no one is perfect, right? And they did their best. Now, when I wrote the letter and I burnt it with intention, with love and compassion, you know what happened in the dream?
Oh, please tell me. I'm excited.
No detail, too much info in the dream about the dream though. I saw myself, be sitting in a luxurious environment.
Wow.
That was a internal communication that I did with my soul, with the proactive taking action of what may work, what may not work. So audience listening in, don't no. Let me put it a positive way. Do try something you haven't tried. You will never know what could work. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah. So Dr. Aziza, I appreciate you for your call
Thank you.
yesterday. I feel like I'm leveling up and intentionally opening my heart space, all of that, to a new level of leadership.
Definitely, Kate, I have realized, and this is my personal journey as well, and you all know that I come from like a homemaker, taking care of family, and I also come from a bit of a corporate environment where I've been part of an American MNC, dealing with holiday consulting, and then a bit of banking background. So all of that has kept me in a different type of atmosphere. When I stepped into the transformation world, like my first step was to work on myself, and that being my highest priority among everything else. When something's not working, I check inside. That's all I do. Everything else is secondary. First is to check inside and why certain things are showing up certain way. And for me, Kate, it has been a lifelong journey, and it still continues to be, because the more we are growing, the more we are expanding, the more we are building our capacity to deliver to the world or the organization, whatever that you want to call it, the family. So you want to really keep growing and expanding yourself. And for me right now is that journey of bringing in more investors, more team players, more partners. So that requires me to constantly expand as well. We are a planned IPO for a $500 million market cap. So what kind of expansion needs to happen? And it's not just restricted to me. The more I expand, the more I give permission for my team to expand. If I stop learning, then that ends everything. So, and I'm very blessed that this has been a very empowering journey for me. And I have to say that I've learned through a lot of mistakes.
you know, that was such a beautiful cherry on top. We all learn from mistakes, and the ability to say it just as it is brings us to the next level. Dr. Aziza, what pops out when you share what you shared is the notion of expanding, you expanding, and your network expanding with you. Can you speak to a little bit more about the competition mindset, I versus you, versus you and me expand together. My goodness and your goodness is all, this is the way. Could you speak to that in terms of bringing world peace using business?
Yes, I am so with you when it comes to, the scarcity mindset where people feel that there is not enough. So there is competition, there is a lot of unsaid politics in organizations about the promotions and the, pay rise and all of that, that leads to what we call gossips. And we know gossips destroys organization, and it's the biggest, I cannot say enough about that. And that's why in our rules of the game, in any organization partnerships that we have, we actually write it down. And for those of you who would like a copy of the rules of the game, that we call it, from the Accelerated Business School Money Making System, we'd love to share with you the rules that you can put up into your organization, share with your teams. It's a very powerful one. One of it literally states down: do not gossip. Speak to the person who can do something about it. Do not gossip. It destroys organization. So that's one of the rules. And coming to the point that you are saying, so when we are having in this small constricted energy, that is where the scarcity happens, because you're not expanded. You're not allowing yourself to see what space is available, what the world has to offer to you in abundance. And that is the expanded energy. When I'm expanded, and when, Kate, you are expanded, you are able to see clear, I'm able to see clear. And what will come up is, oh, I'm in need of this support, and Kate can provide it. So the clarity steps in. And when you are expanded, you see, hey, I need this support from Go Global. So you come and complement. So this is the complementing conversation, and collaborating conversation comes in from the space compared to a competition conversation, especially in organizations. Definitely, people may be growing at different mindsets, but if you are stepping up to collaborate and complement others, you will step out of the rest of the people. And guess what? Promotions, a new level of growth is definitely there for you.
It's really a matter of flipping the switch from what was before, competition, to collaboration. It's one on the other side of the same coin. What do we choose is going to determine our path forward and the quality of people we surround ourselves.
Yes.
I love that part where you write in your company, do not gossip. What I'm thinking is, if we're empowering people and say, hey, this is the truth, that we are all based in love, there is no need to gossip. Can we empower you so there is no need to invest in your energy into something less proactive, constructive? But we're, in a way, showing the people, showing the listeners. If you don't know this yet, if you knew, awesome, that there's a better way of doing business. There's a better way of collaborating, looking at the world now.
Yes, absolutely. And Kate, what has, as much as you shared about what happened to you yesterday, what's been your overall week like, and what have you been doing differently?
Yeah, I recognized that I'm in a flow state, meaning when I work, I am really focused in what I'm doing. And, the only caveat is that I forget to eat. And so this week I had to remind myself what eat. Kate, you have to eat. And proactively, I went jogging, I did yoga, and I also witnessed that there is some resistance to doing these activities. So this week has taught me to consistently put time in taking care of the body. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's, in a way, communicating with my body. So, Dr. Azeeza, what's the situation like in Singapore? You're there.
Yes.
Could you travel? Can you travel now?
Oh, moving around is not a problem. right now in Singapore. It's just that if you are not vaccinated, you cannot be part of dining in. The rest of it is normal, and more than 70% of the country is vaccinated right now. And the main idea is to open up trade with other countries. So that's where we are. And please don't ask me if I'm vaccinated.
Okay, Dr. Azeeza, could we revisit the 5 agreements? What have you been working on this week?
Well, that's a very good one. So let's relook at the 5 agreements. I just love it that we talked about be impeccable with your words. I have been literally relooking at that because, when we are intentional with our communication, being impeccable with our words, that's where the intrinsic communication comes in, alignment of what we say and what we are being. When there is incongruency, that's where the whole dynamic shifts. So I have stepped up my ability to be impeccable with my word, and I'm calling on myself for the next level of growth.
Dr. Azeeza, last Friday I mentioned that one of the 5 agreements I'm working on is number 1, the being impeccable with speech, being in integrity. So I also shared that Friday. I put the priority list based on what I said I would do. And so this week has been chugging that, doing that exactly, sort of catching that up on. But I do have one main task I need to deliver, and I'm feeling some resistance. And when I look inside, I feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure in me. It's beyond being in alignment with my words. I do have intention to deliver that. So what I noticed is that when I put pressure in me that this project needs to be perfect, then it gets more delayed. So how do you mitigate
Wow.
releasing that pressure?
I just love your question. I just worked with someone yesterday on this very topic, and this person had such a huge vision and so much to deliver. She wanted to impact the whole world, 7 billion, 8 billion people. Then what happens? So you've put on your head something that is so big, and then you get all panicky. Even thinking of 7 billion will give you that feeling of impossibility because energetically you're not ready to receive it. So at the end of the whole conversation, guess what number she came up to after going through the processes and clarity conversation?
You want me to guess? 7?
Yeah. 7 what?
7 people. I don't know.
I love that one. So I said in a period of 3 years. So first I put on a timeline. The big vision, 7 billion it's a lifetime journey, or even is like many lifetimes journey of impacting the world. Then again, if you notice, the whole world came to order to be controlled by one thing over the last 1 year. Everybody suddenly just came together. Did you realize that? So there is an ability to happen, but how are we going to make it happen? Like this had an ability to impact every single human being on this planet. What other movement can happen in this speed? So the possibility of impacting 7 billion people is there, is demonstrated in records right now. Yes?
Yeah.
So actually, while I spoke to her yesterday about it, and today I'm telling you, this is a new distinction I'm getting. So there is a possibility of impacting 7 billion people. Then again, when you look at it and your projects and your ability to deliver, it kind of expanded. So what you want to do is, first of all, set a timeline, let's say 3 years. So I asked her, okay, let's set 3 years as a target. Now, in these 3 years, how many people do you want to get impacted? Then her 7 billion became 100 million, focus on a country. And then we continue this conversation, fine-tuning, because the big picture, remember, Kate, we talked about this in the Buckminster Fuller's conversation. We're a speck in the world. At the same time, the vision that we hold is much bigger, is as huge as it can get. So setting a timeline to it becomes more structured and more digestible in our mind, because our mind has got its own stories. So what we did was what I did the next step while talking into her, she came to a understanding of the what resources she has right now to deliver it, and what are the various other factors that involves, including her own mind stories, and aligning with that, she came up with 3 million people. And then 3 million.
Okay, cool.
And then now so that number, where did it come? It set in well with her based on two things, which Kate, you can also look at. Number one is the deliverables for the 3 million people. What is the deliverables? That clarity.
Yeah, clarity.
Right?
Something you can do, tick it off. Yeah.
Yeah. So something that you know, it could be as simple as talking to 3 million people and telling them mental well-being, finish. So that's impacted. You've already given your message, like 30 minutes message. Or it could be each one of them buying your products or services, or, getting enrolled into your community. So that also has its own, impact. So you want to identify exactly what does impact mean, define that. That becomes accountable. Then putting all that into perspective, now you come back to roadmap it back to now and ask yourself, what is the very first step you need to take in line with this direction?
Okay. Are you done with the process? The audience listening, what if this people, a person who has as big of a dream as this woman you're speaking about, what do we do to help their mental well-being? One of the strategy I hear you say is just break it down. And could we say that it's okay to start small?
Yes. The word pressure that you use is the exact question, the exact word that made me talk her into breaking it down further and further, because we feel that we are motivated by pressure, and very interestingly is that very pressure that causes procrastination and paralysis of
that can impact mental well-being, right?
Yes, and affecting our mental well-being for sure, because it's a spiral effect, right? You can't deliver, so you are upset with yourself, and then you don't take action, and then it goes on and on, the same thing.
Thanks for sharing that. You did walk me through the breaking down into the small steps, and that really let me let go of some stress. That's helpful. Yes. One tip. Could we move into some tips, Dr. Azeeza? When we feel stress, when you feel stress, what is your go-to activity? For me, my go-to activity, you wanna hear this? I go to YouTube, type in my favorite song, and I start dancing.
Oh my God, give me a high five. My favorite. We hang out together like that, right? For me, I can tell you, especially in recent months, it has been going into periodic prayers and meditation, you can call it, because in the Islamic meditation or prayers, you can call it, there is a posture, different postures, and one of my favorite posture is putting the forehead on the floor. In the posture of prostrating, you call it, like put your knees, you're on your knees, and then on the floor with your forehead on the floor. And by being in this posture, and it supported me, and yoga has also got many benefits, has been talked about this posture, where there is a release of any unwanted energy from the forehead into the ground. And then with that, when you inhale, when I do that, I do inhale and exhale in that posture. So when I inhale, I'm inhaling with energy from Mother Earth. And then when I exhale, I'm exhaling out from my mouth anything that doesn't serve in my body. And I do this periodically on a regular basis over the day, especially, when I'm into a lot of meetings. I make sure I take these constant breaks, and they could be as little as 5 minutes. It gets me into so much of strength. And so it becomes like, it's no longer like a prayer. Many people do these prayers like a ritual. So I'm not into ritual praying. those kind of stuff. You would have seen many of them do it, and all kind of ritual prayers. But I'm not for that. So I have been very conscious in that space of, I have to say, I have to declare right now that for a period of time, I was not into constant prayers in this way. And then I kind of got into it because I realized the power of consciousness in these postures that can add value to me. And when you're in that posture, by the way, it is also gratitude. I'm practicing gratitude, grateful. I'm grateful for alive. I'm saying all these gratitude recitations as well.
Wow. Yeah. I'm so grateful you shared that.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's going to be beautiful. And I am so grateful, Kate. This is the 10th part of our first season of Solutions for Mental Well-Being, especially to inspire organizations to take on more conscious level of growth and taking care of the well-being of themselves as leaders, as well as their organization, the team that the world has entrusted the organization to take care of. So I want to thank each and every one of you tuning in. And I want you, Kate, to share with us, what is it that you have for us installed from next week? You want to talk into that? I'm excited.
Yeah. Everyone listen up. So Dr. Azeeza and I will be going on a 10 series journey once again. And this time we're speaking directly to startup CEOs, established HR C-suite levels, personnel who are keen to supporting your fellow community members, how to upgrade the mental well-being from a psychological, spiritual, and pragmatic standpoint. And Dr. Azeeza and I are going to create a LinkedIn group for all of us to interact there. So what Dr. Azeeza and myself provide can complement your company as in one. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next 10 journey with you, Dr. Azeeza. And I do, while I'm growing and expanding my energy and getting clarity what direction I am going with this company I'm building with my colleagues at Stanford, I am upgrading my brand image. I have upgraded the video backdrop, things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Dr. Azeeza, how about you?
I am so excited, Kate. I just love to see the progress. What we have just done is demonstrated how small agreements can lead to long-term progress. One of my mentors, she created 5 years agreements with her team in China, and they have been in business for 20 years. And they have impacted more than 100,000 Chinese business entrepreneurs. So I learned a lot in terms of making small agreements, and I'm so happy we are taking these 10 by 10 steps. I know this is going to take multiple leaps of bounds. It gives us to constantly evolve and correct as we move forward. So I'm excited about the LinkedIn group. If you are someone in the HR CEO level, in the C-suite level, as well as if you're an entrepreneur, join us in the LinkedIn group. That's number one. Number two, I think, Kate, we talked about this. We want to hear from you and also be a part of the conversation. We'd love to invite you to the room, and it'd be a great opportunity for you to showcase your business, share with us your business and how you are using your solutions in mental well-being. And also, of course, if you have questions in this space, we'll be happy to support you and guide you. Wow, that's a lot to offer. You're counting, it's going on.
And Dr. Azeeza, the small agreements can move a mountain, is what I heard you say from my own perspective. And I must say, for audience listening in, whatever you enjoy doing, and even if you have a big dream, enjoying this moment and having fun can be very sustainable. Dr. Azeeza, I want to say thank you for collaborating with me. I feel I'm having fun with you as we share.
Yes.
And before you go, would you like to share about your company? And then I'll close up with my company.
Sure, no problem. This is our Go Global Business School. My mentor calls it a movement because we are in the mission of really uplifting the consciousness of business leaders, and conscious leadership framework is what we are bringing to organizations so they can become more empowered and more inclusive in the way that they lead their team for greater productivity, performance, and profits. To you, Kate.
Awesome. Mm, I have started the institution called Sacred Healing Institution. It is part of Life of Emerald and is focused on high conscious level e-university, focusing on three things: emotional intelligence, depth psychology, and spirituality. Look forward to bringing a guest with PhD scholar level background, and we have a program ready for you. It's called 30-Day Happiness Premium Program. This is a compilation of the healing that I undertook, healing myself, put it into one program. So DM me if you'd like to learn more about that. I'm happy to assist your organization, bring mental wellness to people that you care about. Dr. Azeeza, what do you say? See you
I
later.
love everything that you're doing and your passion, Kate. We are so happy that Go Global could partner you and walk that journey together in a new level of consciousness for community. So this is really about complementing and collaborating for a better world. And I thank you for allowing that.
Okay, thank you. I'm shy a little bit.
Thank
Okay, thank you.
So let's round it off for the day. You're like, what should I say right now?
Okay, everyone.
So
Yeah, we welcome you to comment and interact with us in our next 10 session. Dr. Azeeza, I feel grateful. Complete this first season. I look forward to Monday. Seeing you
Monday, absolutely. We call this complete and see y'all on Monday. Have a blessed week, everyone.